Okay, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruchakodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. And Shalom to all of the Archeum that are teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth and sincerity. I am the brother Caleb from the GMS England London Forecasters Camp, back with another lesson to help edify the Lord's elect. As always, I like to start the videos by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites, and the real Israelites are so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans predominantly. However, you will find Israelites that do look like the other nations, because we as a people have been scattered amongst all nations throughout our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that was named Israel, then you too are an Israelite, no matter what you may look like. Because the book of Numbers, chapter 1 and the 18th verse states that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. So, I'm doing a lesson here, going into this image which I saw a few days ago, a day or two ago, I believe. I basically went to the cinema and I was checking what films are coming up over the course of the next week or whatever, because I'm someone who enjoys good films, and I love cinematography and stuff like that. So I was just checking to see if there's anything cool coming up at my local cinema, and I was scrolling through the menu and I saw this image. And now this image, for those of you, you probably recognize it. This is the actor Vin Diesel in the Fast and the Furious series. Apparently they've got their 10th Fast and Furious movie coming out. I don't watch these films because they never appeal to me. To be honest, I mean, I love action films, but these films always just seem stupid to me. I mean, like, cars that are, they turn CG and shit and do ridiculous stunts. And it never looked real. It always looks really stupid to me, and the plot seems thinner than a fucking than a piece of paper. But so these don't really appeal to me. However, I saw this image and I thought, well, isn't that interesting? And I thought, let me do a little analysis on this image, because this is a very, if I can dare to use the word cliche, it's a very cliche image where, they'll show an actor or a character or a singer or whoever it is, and they'll be sitting there in the dark, sitting there in a completely dark environment, looking down, looking all serious, holding onto a crucifix, as if they're doing some deep prayer or some deep meditation to the Lord. Now, I find this ludicrous and ridiculous, and really just an overly used image. I mean, it's so common. Like, I remember, this particular album covers, for example, where they show the character and they're looking like this, like, they're desperately trying to search their soul and find the Most High. Well, this whole thing is a cliche. Now, if I can dare to use that word, let me get the dictionary definition of cliche. A cliche is a trite, stereotyped expression, a sentence or phrase usually expressing a popular or common thought or idea that has lost originality, ingenuity, and impact by long overuse. As sadder but wiser, or strong as an ox. So a cliche is like a figure of speech where it's just overly used, like, to the point where it's no longer, it's lost all its potency, no longer has any impact. Let's look at definition 2. In art, literature, or drama, a trite or hackneyed plot, character development, or use of color, musical expression. So in music, something can become cliche if it's overused. So an example of a modern day cliche in music would be auto-tune. Or, those trap beats where they've got a drum machine sound, just like, sorry, it's so lucky I'm doing music. I'm not the best beatboxer, but that, a cliched sound in music now is those basic ass drum machine metronome type beats with no fucking melodic expression whatsoever. It's just all rhythmic, and the most basic rhythms at that. and then they use auto-tune and it all sounds shit, you know, like Apostle Gabar always goes into the, you know, the music sounds like you know. You know, people don't really sing anymore, they just do shit like that. Well, guess what, it's become cliched. So definition 3, anything that has become trite or commonplace through overuse, you know. Definition 4, British printing, a stereotype or electrotype plate, a reproduction made in like manner. Number 5 definition, trite, hacking, stereotyped cliche. Yeah, this is a stereotype, it is a cliche. So going back to this image, here you got so-called Vin Diesel. What's his character's name? Is it Dom Toretto? See, I don't watch these movies, but you know, I kind of know a little bit about the plot, whatever. Yeah, this character called Dom, Vin Diesel's character. There he is, looking like, oh yeah, he's desperately seeking the Lord, but he ain't seeking shit. And you know why? Because this is one of the most commonplace mistakes that people perceive about any kind of Bible-related spirituality tied to what the world would ignorantly call Jesus. See, they use the symbol of the cross, thinking that somehow there's power in that symbol. Oh yeah, he's holding a crucifix, like there's power in that. Well, the answer or the truth to that is that there's no power in the cross. The power really lay within the blood of Yahweh Shai. That's where the power was. And it's his blood that was spilt that washed us, Lord willing we be of the elect, from our filthiness and brought us back to the Most High. You see, the blood had a price. So when Yahweh Shai's blood was spilt, he was able to use that in order to buy back, basically ransom the souls of the elect. Let's put it this way, right? I'm going to try and break this down as simply as I can. Lord willing, it is coherent and makes sense. Let's say your blood, I said this at camp yesterday, let's see if I can express it a bit better. Let's say your blood has a numerical value attached to it. So let's say your blood had the value of 100. However, the sins that you've committed had a value of billions. So there you are trying to bargain with the Most High, saying, look, Lord, okay, I owe this debt of billions, but my blood is worth 100. Let me die, and that will cover my sins. Well, guess what? It wouldn't work, because your blood doesn't have enough of a numerical value to be able to offset the cost of the sins committed. However, let's say Yahweh Shai's blood had a numerical value. Yours has 100. Let's say his is like 55 trillion for Yahweh Shai's blood. So he was able to shed his blood and then use his blood to cover the cost of all the sins you've committed, and all the cost of the sins that the 144,000 have committed, and all the cost of the sins that the 1/3 that's going to be saved have committed. But it does have a value, and that value is finite. So therefore, that blood doesn't extend to the rest of Israel that's going to have to die on this side and come back in the kingdom. So everything has a value to it. But I'm just using hypothetical numbers there, arbitrary figures. You know, the Bible doesn't say a man's blood has a value of 100, or Yahweh Shai's blood is, 22 trillion value. But I'm just using that numerical analogy so that you can kind of understand where the power lies. The power lay in Yahweh Shai's blood, because he didn't commit any sins in that lifetime, and therefore he was able to use his blood when it was shed on the cross to buy back the souls of the elect, to save them. Now, as I said, the power is in the blood, not in the cross. The cross was just the instrument used for Yahweh Shai's death. Now, it was a very particular instrument that was used, because you know what? The scripture says, cursed is he that hangeth on a tree. Now, I'm going to get a little bit deep here, but I'm not going to go too deep, but just to put it this way. The scripture says, cursed is he that hangeth on a tree. Now, what was the cross made out of? It was made out of the wood of a tree. So when Yahweh Shai died on the cross, he became the vessel that would redeem the elect, but he also became a curse because he died in that particular way. And that curse is on the other, how do I say? Those who are not covered by Yahweh Shai's blood, they're under the curse. So when Yahweh Shai comes the second time, he's going to destroy them. Because another aspect of the curse is when Yahushua is being offered up. And Pontius Pilate said, shall I release Yahushua or Barabbas? The people said, release Barabbas. And Pilate said, but what about this Yahushua? And they said, crucify him. Let his blood be upon us and our children. So they spoke a curse unto themselves at that point in time. So when Yahushua comes the second time as the angel of death, because he was the angel of death during the Passover, but in the Passover during the Exodus of Egypt, none of the Israelites were touched during that Passover. But in the second Passover, a lot of Israelites are going to be touched because they're going to be caught by the angel of death, which is Yahushua when he comes back with the chariots. So there's a very heavy judgment to come to those of our people who denied the Lord 2,000 years ago. They're back in their lot due to biblical reincarnation, and they're going to have to face the Lord. Remember what Revelation 1 and verse 7 says. Let me get that quickly. Jump to Revelation 1 and verse 7. It says, behold, he cometh with clouds. So who's that he? That he is Yahushua, and the one that the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth. Yes, including the nation of Israel that's not under the covenant, not under the covering of the blood of Yahushua. All kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen. Now, I'm saying all of that to preface the lesson, really, because this lesson is kind of in two parts. The first part is talking about this image here, which is a vain image, a trite image, a played out image. Really, it kind of goes back to Roman Catholicism, because when they used to do the confessions, this is the kind of way those Catholics would do it. Like, you know, they'd be hanging on to their crucifixes or their prayer beads, and they go in the dark church and they're going to that fucking confession box, and you'd have the Catholic priest sitting in there, and he'd open that little window box and they'd say, or what have you done, my son, or what have you done, my daughter, or whatever. And they'll say, oh, Father, forgive me, I have sinned, I've done this, I've done that, blah, 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 blah. This is what this image is really an image of, that kind of Roman Catholic confessional type of image, but it's used and it appeals to people. You see, a lot of people who don't know the truth, especially Jake, because Jake is very influential, but, you know, most people, they look up to these actors and these celebrities and these singers as their role models, and they base their lives around what they see on the screen. They call it that silver screen, the movie screen, or what they see on TV, or what they hear on the radio. They base their lives around these people who they look up to and call role models, who really are their idols. So this is the second part of the lesson I want to get into, that beware of idolatry. Because a lot of people will look up to Vin Diesel and his so-called character that he plays in these films. What's his name? Dom Toretto. And they'll think, yeah, he's really cool. I want to be like Dom. I want to be like Vin Diesel. Yeah, I want to drive a car like him. I'm going to wear a shirt like him. You know, I'm going to shave my hair, you know, bald like him. You know, he's my role model, man. That's my guy. That's my guy. But really, you know, your role model should really be, if you're an Israelite, your role model should be holy men, men of integrity, men that actually stood for something. Vin Diesel don't stand for nothing. He's just another actor that's got a paycheck, playing out his role in Hollywood, and he probably had to, he had to do his backdoor deals to get to the position where he's in. This guy isn't somebody to look up to, or to admire, or to revere, or to base your life around, or to idolize. So let's get into this idolatry thing. So it just so happens that I saw this image the other day, and today I saw something which gave me the inspiration to make this lesson a two-part lesson in one. So if I go to the YouTube here, you got this guy. It says, this man has dedicated his life to looking exactly like Vin Diesel. I'm going to play this video, right? I just saw it on a random today. It came up in my feed and I thought, what the hell is this? And I watched it and I thought, shit, man. You got a lot of men out there, or a lot of women have their idols, men have their idols, but you ain't supposed to be having no idols, man. Even looking up to men in the truth, like let's looking up to men, holy men in the scriptures, you can look up to them, but you ain't supposed to idolize them. For example, you can look up to King David, but you can't idolize King David. You can look up to Noah. You can look up to Samson. You can look up to Judas Maccabeus. You can look up to many characters in the Bible. Ezekiel, Isaiah, Daniel. There's a lot of people who I've just mentioned that I personally hold in very high regard. But you know what? I don't idolize them. I don't put them on pedestals to the point of putting them above the Most High and His Son. You're supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to worship the Most High. And then, the Most High wants you to give reverence unto His Son. What did the scriptures say? This is my Son in whom I am well pleased. The Most High wants the Son to receive glory. Other than that, yeah, you can respect great men in the Bible. You can look up to great men, but you don't idolize them. Far less any fucking nigger celebrity or, in the world. You're not supposed to look up to people in the world or even in your own family. Okay, you can look up to your mum and your dad, but you don't idolize them. So I'm saying everything has to be done with balance and measure. But what you find is a lot of the people in this society, they don't have any balance or measure. They do things all out of whack, and their love is inordinate. They have a great reserves of inordinate affection for things which you're really not supposed to be setting your affections upon. So, not to talk too much, this guy here, I'm going to play this clip. Chances are I'm probably going to get, this video flagged or some shit, but I'm going to do it anyway because Lord willing to be edifying. I'm just going to play a little bit, but it's funny how the Spirit reveals things, because the first time I saw this clip, I'm going to play it in a moment, the first thing I thought is this guy is an idolater. Lo and behold, out of their own horse's mouth, he convicts himself. So let me play it. Look, there you go. You see what I'm saying? So this guy, it says this man's dedicated his life to looking exactly like Vin Diesel. And what have you got here? The image of this crucifix. So he's got this crucifix, right? Just like, Vin Diesel's doing there. But guess what? These guys aren't even seeking Yahweh. It's just a symbol. A vain and empty symbol, which they think looks cool, but they completely miss the meaning and the point of. It's ridiculous, because if Yahweh had died by getting stabbed to death, would people walk around with like knives on their neck? Really what you're celebrating is the fact that Esau killed the Lord. When you're walking around with these crucifixes, you're celebrating the fact that, yeah, they killed him. Yeah, they got him, they killed him. You're not really being spiritual and understanding the real significance. And as I said, the power's in the blood, not in the cross. There you are, just walking with a reminder that the enemy killed the Lord in the physical sense. Likewise, if they threw a grenade at the Lord and he got blown up, would you walk around with a grenade strapped around your neck on a little chain? No, it'd be fucking ridiculous. But see, people don't think, man. People in a society don't think. They just emulate and imitate and copy without really critically thinking and assessing things. Anyway, enough of me talking. Let me get back to the video. You play this. You'll see what I'm saying. Fucking hell, get out of my face.
ผมเห็นหุ่นคือวิดีเซลครั้งแรกผมก็อยากได้ชาวบ้านในเชียงรายหรือจังหวัดเชียงรายนะครับเพราะผมออกไปไหนทุกคนเขาจะรู้จักผมหมดในนามวิดี
So he says he's known as the Thai Vin Diesel. I hope you can read this on the screen. The subtitles. It's a bit small, obviously, but Lord willing, I'll put a link to this video in the description so you can watch it for yourselves. If you missed the subtitles, because they're a bit small, they keep playing this.
เมืองไทยเขารู้จักผมมากจริงๆครับนักแสดงที่ผมชอบชาวบ้านในเชียงรายหรือจังหวัดเชียงรายนะครับเพราะผมออกไปไหนทุกคนเขาจะรู้จักผมหมดในนามวิดีเซลเมืองไทยเขารู้จักผมมากจริงๆครับนักแสดงที่ผมชอบหลักๆคือวิดีเซลและก็มีอีก 2-3 คนเจสันสเตตัมบูวิลลิสเดอะล็อกพวกนี้แสดงเก่งแล้วก็บุคลิกเท่แล้วก็หัวโล้นด้วยครับผม
เขาช่วยในเรื่องด้านชื่อเสียงของเชียงรายค่ะเพราะว่า
เดี๋ยวพี่วินคะขอถ่ายรูปได้ไหมคะ
ดังมากเลยครับรู้สึกทำตัวไม่ถูก
ไอดอลของหลายๆคนนะครับที่ทั่วโลกชื่นชอบ
วินแพทโรลญาติของพี่วินดีเซลจากเมืองไทย
จะพูดถึงวินดีเซล
So they call him the Thai Vin Diesel. He's done everything in his power to try and look like his idol, right?
คือแกเป็นไอดอลที่เปลี่ยนชีวิตผมมากวินดีเซล
วินแพทโรลญาติของพี่วินดีเซลจากเมืองไทย
จะพูดถึงวินดีเซลคือแกเป็น
See, out of his own mouth, Vin Diesel is my idol who has completely changed my life. Now, there he is idolizing a guy who he's never met, probably never going to meet, but yet he bases every action, every movement, every decision around what would Vin do. And who the hell is Vin Diesel? You know what I'm saying? He's fucking nobody in the grander scheme of things. But this is just one example of modern day idolatry. Now, it's all good and well to enjoy something. You can watch films and enjoy it. You can listen to songs and enjoy them. But, you know, you need to have a bit of maturity about you. You need to understand that it's okay to like things, but when you start to become a fan, that's when you get onto rocky ground, because the word fan goes back to fanatic or fanatical. You see what I'm saying? So that's just one step away from slipping onto the road of idolatry. Now, don't get it twisted. There's things that I enjoy, forgive me. There's things that I enjoy, but I always keep it within its measure. And I always know that, you know, at the end of the day, it's vanity and folly and just a mild temporary entertainment, not something that I need to, like, base my whole life around. It's silly. Anyway, I'm going to forward it, right? So he's basically said Vin Diesel is his idol, right?
ดอนที่เปลี่ยนชีวิตผมมากวินดีเซลถ้าคุณดูอยู่ผมอยากเจอคุณผมจะเลี้ยงเหล้าคุณ I love you
Thai Vin Diesel
ผมชื่ออาทิตย์ดวงศรีครับเป็นคนเชียงรายอายุ38ปีครับเมื่อก่อนผมทำอาชีพเป็นวงดนตรีครับเป็นหางเครื่องเป็นแดนเซอร์อะไรอย่างเงี้ยเต้นตามผับตามบาร์ครับก่อนหน้านั้นที่ผมความมั่นใจในตัวเอง
So that's what this dude used to look like, right? Until he shaved his head and started hitting the weights because he wanted to be a Vin Diesel lookalike.
ผมไม่รู้ว่าลุคผมจะไปทางไหนดีตอนนั้นสับสน
I couldn't find my own look and style, so I was struggling to find myself. So he couldn't come up with his own look or style. He was struggling. Right?
ผู้หญิงก็ไม่ชอบไว้ผมทำไมผมถึงดูไม่มีเสน่ห์ไม่มีความมั่นใจอย่างงี้ครับก่อนจะขึ้นเต้นผมเก็บผมหมด
When flora plant tastes like butter and has 75% less climate impact, skip the cow, not the taste.
ครับผมแล้วก็หน้าออกมาแล้วมีคนทักว่าหน้าเหมือนวินดีเซลครับ
Now this is Satan. Look at this.
ผมก็ดีใจมากเพราะผมเป็นแฟนตัวยงของวินดีเซลอยู่แล้ววันนั้นเลยเป็นจุดที่เปลี่ยนผมเล่นมั่วๆไป 3-4 ปีเลยเป็นจุดที่เปลี่ยนลุคครับผมแล้วก็หน้าออกมาแล้วมีคนทักว่าหน้าเหมือนวินดีเซลครับผมก็ดีใจมากเพราะผมเป็นแฟนตัวยงของวินดีเซลอยู่แล้ววันนั้นเลยเป็นจุดที่เปลี่ยนลุคผมก็ไปร้านตัดผมเลยผมก็บอกพี่ตัดผมให้ผมหน่อยตั้งแต่นั้นมา
So again, it's going off there because you're not supposed to make baldness on your head. Now, if you're bald by natural causes, that's one thing, but to intentionally make your head bald, that's going off. And obviously, well, I don't know if Vin Diesel's a legit, genuinely bald, but if he ain't, he's encouraging people in a bad way because what do people do? They emulate and imitate what they see, like this Thai guy here. I don't know if he's a Moabite or what, but you know, he's going above and beyond to look like his idol. So let's keep playing.
ตั้งแต่นั้นมาเขาก็โกนออกพอโกนออกแล้วหน้ามันได้ผมก็เริ่มฟิตหุ่นตั้งแต่นั้นมาครับสิ่งแรกที่ผมจะทำคือเข้ายิมฟิตหุ่นให้เหมือนวินดีเซลครับผมเล่นมั่วๆไป 3-4 ปีกว่าผมจะได้หุ่นแบบนี้ผมผ่านอะไรมาเยอะมากครับ ทุกเช้าผมจะลงมาที่ห้องครัวนะครับเป็นสูตรเล่นกล้ามครับผมขั้นแรกก็คือมันสุขภาพดีครับแล้วก็อยากเหมือนวินดีเซลด้วยครับผม
He's on that diet because he says he wants to be healthy and because he wants to look like Vin Diesel.
วินดีเซลก่อนออกจากบ้านผมจะแต่งตัวประมาณนี้ครับผมใส่กางเกงสีดำแล้วก็เสื้อยืดสีขาวทำให้ผมมีความมั่นใจและมี
See, even down to the way he dresses. He wears the exact same clothes that Vin Diesel would wear in the films. He says, I wear these black trousers and this white t-shirt. It gives me confidence and this is my style. But he ain't really being himself. He's just imitating some next guy's life.
มีเอกลักษณ์ที่เด่นชัดครับผมสัญลักษณ์ของ
This is the symbol
วินดีเซลครับผมสิ่งที่ขาดไม่ได้เลยคือ
So here we go. This goes back to my initial point. When it comes to the crucifixes, this is the symbol of Vin Diesel and I can't go without it. Look at it, and this is what this inspires, man. You see, this inspires this.
ครับผมสิ่งที่ขาดไม่ได้เลยใส่กางเกงสีดำแล้วก็เสื้อยืดสีขาวทำให้ผมมีความมั่นใจและมีเอกลักษณ์ที่เด่นชัดครับผมสัญลักษณ์ของวินดีเซลครับผมสิ่งที่ขาดไม่ได้เลยคือไม้กางเขนครับมาจากพี่วินดีเซลครับฟาสต์แอนด์ฟิวเรียสครับผม
So he ain't even thinking about no yet. This is the perfect image too. See, look at this. Yeah, look at this. See, this guy, he ain't even thinking about Yahushua. He's thinking about, I want to look like Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel wore this costume Fast and the Furious, so I'll wear it too. Dumbass.
ฟาสต์แอนด์ฟิวเรียสครับผมรู้สึกว่าเราเป็นเหมือน
Look at that. Now this is why I had to do this video. Look what it says. Now I have my idol spirit. See, you can't make this shit up, man. You honestly can't make this shit up. Now I have my idol spirit. And that's true, man. That's very true.
ไอดอลเราเลยครับวินดีเซลไม่ใช่พระเจ้าคนเดียวของ
And he says, Vin Diesel is not my only god. So this guy literally worships fucking Vin Diesel as a god. Vin Diesel is not my only god.
ผมครับผมยังมี
I also have another god. So here he goes into his idol shrine.
อีกคนอีก
See, you know, he's got his fucking idol shrine there.
อะไรนะครับ เป็นความฝันของผมเลยนะครับที่
My biggest dream is to meet the real Vin Diesel. So this Moabite, I'm going to call him a Moabite, right? He was an idolater from the get-go. So him idolizing Vin Diesel doesn't really strike me as anything new to this guy. That's his spirit, because these other heathen nations, they're idolaters, man. They don't know the Most High. But if by any chance he is a Jake, he needs to wake up, man, and come out of this idolatry. But this lesson's really to you Israelites anyway. You ain't supposed to be idolizing no basketball players like your Michael Jordans, your Kobe Bryants, you know, whoever else is playing these days. You're not supposed to be idolizing no football players, no musicians, no rappers, no singers, no actors, no other kind of celebrities. You ain't supposed to be looking up and idolizing these people, man. It's fucking ridiculous and childish, man. What do the scriptures say? When I was a child, I thought and I spake as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. This is a very childish mentality, man.
อยากจะเจอวินดีเซลตัวจริงมันเป็นอยากเจอสัก
It says, for once in my lifetime, I have to meet him in person.
ทั้งในชีวิตครับผมถ้าผมได้เจอวินดีเซลตัวจริงอันดับแรกผมจะเข้าไปกอดบอกว่า I love you วินดีเซล
If I met him, I'd give him a big hug and say, I love you, Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel. Fucking ridiculous.
ผมจะแต่งตัวเหมือนวินดีเซล
Right, that's enough about that. Let's get back to the scriptures and close this out. So this is what I'm saying, man. People miss the point. Scriptures say, Exodus 20 and verse 4. Whew. Let me start from Exodus 20 and verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am Yahweh thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. So you're not supposed to have any idol before the Most High. Even your woman can be an idol if you don't keep her in her place, in her right place, in your mind. Women want to be worshipped. They want you to idolize them. Don't make that mistake. Thou shalt not make any graven image of any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahweh thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. So the Most High doesn't look upon idolatry as a light thing. In fact, it's a sin unto death. You know, there's many other scriptures I could bring out on the act of idolatry and the creature worshipping the creature more than the creator, i.e. men worshipping men and not giving any respect or reverence or regard to the Most High. But I think I've made the point. I'm going to keep this one brief in terms of the amount of scriptures I dropped. So that's the point. Exodus 20 gives you an overview of the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments are basically the framework upon which the whole law stands. There's more than 10 commandments. There's 613 laws, but the 10 are basically a summary of a very brief summary of the laws. But one of the first things the Most High says is, thou shalt not have any other gods before me, because I am a jealous God. So the Most High is very jealous, and idolatry is a sin unto death. And this guy is going to die for doing what he's doing, because he's an idolater. If he's a Jake, may the Lord wake him up. If he's not, then fuck him. So with that, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Makakadash, double honors unto the elders and apostles, a great millstone of all well, shalom to all the Archeum teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth and sincerity. And I'm out for this one, and I'll catch you on the next Lord willing. Shalom for now. Wa Abba Baba, wa Kamesha Allah. Shalom.